Hello everybody, and welcome to our Summit and Expo event of APAC 2020. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sean Depana. I'm Executive Vice President and Head of Corporate Innovation for Plug and Play. I'm actually based from Silicon Valley, but now has been expanding and my presence in Southeast Asia and APAC since the beginning of the pandemic. Currently, I'm here in Thailand in our office in Bangkok. And I would like to give you a little bit of an update about Thailand programs and across the region what is our mission and vision is. But first and foremost, I'd like to say a big thank you to my team members that have been working so hard during the past few months to scale our business and bring more tractions and growth for us. First and foremost, I would like to start from Silicon Valley with William Lee, who is our APAC manager, who is coordinating all activity between our engagement through Silicon Valley. Second of all, our program manager in Thailand, Tanya Thongwaranan. currently as handling the Smart City program. And of course, third is our community manager, Alex Chatputin, and she is basically managing all this startup engagement with our ecosystem. Third is our business development manager, whose name is Anas Beiruti. And of course, going across the region in Hong Kong, Rose Lam, who's a business development manager for our engagement through our corporate partners and other activities in Hong Kong. Out of Philippines, we have Sarah Rose, also scaling our presence in Philippines, starting in Manila. And of course, recently joined us is in Singapore, we have Sanjar Taromi, who is basically engaged with expanding our presence through Singapore in food and agriculture. We have a very ambitious plan for Thailand program to really scale in these two programs and of course add additional verticals in terms of traction with our corporate partners and investment opportunities. But more than anything else, we are growing so rapidly due to the relevance of our engagement with our corporate partners and especially on our investment portfolio expansions across the region in APAC region. And I'm excited to see a lot more growth and opportunities of engagement in the coming months. Thank you again, and it's looking forward to seeing you guys soon in person across the region.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our APAC Summit. My name is Tanya Thongranan, and I lead our Smart Cities program here in Thailand. Today, I would like to bring you to take a closer look into what our program entails and why we are the ultimate smart cities platform in Asia Pacific. One of the unique benefits of Plug and Play Smart Cities program is that we provide the ultimate innovation platform to develop smart solutions for the cities of the future. And we bring all the relevant stakeholders together in one collaborative ecosystem. Through our global network and proprietary tools, we bring in all relevant key players across geographical locations. And this includes corporations, startups, governments, universities, municipalities, and venture capitalists. Today's world is increasingly interconnected, meaning that open innovation can no longer be industry specific. Cities are complex, and in order to make it smart or smarter, we need to leverage technology solutions across verticals. And that's exactly what our Smart Cities program does. We bring together all the key players of the value chain, and we foster close collaboration between these players to successfully implement new solutions. Our Smart Cities program has all the relevant industries under one umbrella. This includes real estate and construction, mobility and IoT, energy and sustainability, and health. In addition to this competitive advantage, we also have adjacent focus areas, including supply chain, cybersecurity, enterprise tech, as well as brand and retails. This provides our corporate partners with a broad range of visibility of technology areas across verticals, with the ultimate goal of creating positive impact and allowing them to achieve their innovation objectives. We have global coverage spanning all key geographic locations, seamlessly connecting Bangkok to Europe to Silicon Valley. And we won't be here today without our amazing partners. Currently, we have 90 plus partnerships under our Smart Cities program globally. And each year we run over 22 startup acceleration batches, and over 1,200 startups have been accelerated. Very special thanks to our very own Asia Pacific partners, including KE Group, PTT, Thai Oil, BDMS, Phil Invest Development Corporation, CP Group, and Bangchak. With their support and active engagement throughout the year, we have achieved over 15 pilots and commercial deals over the past 10 months. For our keynote session, we're delighted and very fortunate to have Mr. Steve Wesley joining us live from Silicon Valley. Mr. Wesley has a unique background. He served on the faculty at Stanford's Graduate School of Business for 5 years. He also helped take eBay public in 1998, where he served as Senior Vice President of Marketing, Business Development, M&A, and International. In 2002, Mr. Wesley was elected Controller and CFO of the state of California. He served on the boards of California Public Employees Retirement System and California State Teachers Retirement System, which invests more than $450 billion US. He founded the Wesley Group in 2007, which is one of the largest smart energy and transportation venture firms in the US. The firm has had 4 portfolio companies which went public, including Tesla Motors, which Mr. Wesley sat on the board of trustee for 3 years. Today, Mr. Wesley will share his knowledge and insights on how autonomous vehicles will reshape smart cities and industries of the future. Please help me welcome Mr. Steve Wesley.
Story of where the future is going, how new technologies will shape the cities of the future. Tracy, next slide. So what's happening today is that there are revolutions happening in 3 of the largest industries in the world: sustainable energy, autonomous vehicles and transportation, and smart cities. And you need to understand, for the last 100 years, looking backwards, these 3 sectors, energy, mobility, and cities, were all separate. Today, they're all converging, and I'm about to tell you why. What I want you to understand first is that the world is moving away from the world of traditional manufacturing, companies with lower gross margins, very capital intense, to this new world, a world of the intersection of smart devices, software, IoT, high gross margin companies, capital efficient. These are the companies that are changing the world. I'll tell you a quick story. A good friend of mine was just appointed president of Nike, the world's largest sports apparel company. And Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, stood up, introduced John Donahoe, and people said, wait a minute, this guy has no background in sports whatsoever. Why did you choose him? And Phil Knight said, it's because we are no longer a sporting good company. We are a technology company that invests in the sporting world. And this is a story you'll hear across all industries, because every company is becoming a software and technology company as we move into the future. Next slide. The other thing that's driving this new future that you have to understand is that for approximately 40 years, baby boomers, older folks like me, dominated the global economy with our buying patterns, our political views, and so on. But as of 2017, something extraordinary happened. For the first time in 40 years, the largest buying cohort in the world shifted like that, from baby boomers to millennials. And their buying patterns are completely different. And every one of us needs to understand that. For my generation, it was all about who could afford the biggest TV, the biggest car, the biggest house, and then we might throw it out and buy a bigger one in 2 or 3 years. With millennials, it's just the opposite. They're laser focused on reducing their carbon footprint, how to have more connectivity in every part of their life, and how to live in a world with more community. Next. But it's not just about those themes. Millennials are demanding the use of new technologies, the Internet of Things to make life easier and less expensive, bigger data to make life more convenient, sharing economy so we can reduce our carbon footprint and not be as wasteful as my generation. Next slide. What this all translates to is a world that's changed faster than anybody anticipated. Take a look at this. When I was younger, the 10 largest firms in the world, 7 oil companies, 2 US auto companies, and General Electric. It was an American century, but not a very good century for the planet. Fast forward 40 years, not one of those companies is in the top 10 any longer. They didn't see the future coming. We've moved from a world of oil, big cars, to a completely different world, a world dominated by technology companies. And come back to that slide for a second. What you'll notice is 7 of these 10 companies have asterisks by them. They're all on the West Coast of the United States, with a smattering in China. But all of the oil companies gone, all of the car companies, except for Tesla, gone, and not a single company left in New York. Next slide. What I want you to understand is to take a good look at this slide. This is everything you need to know about energy in one slide. As a venture capitalist, my job is to see before others where the inflection points are coming. In 2015, if you take a close look, for the first time in human history, wind and solar cost less than coal and gas in virtually every part in the world. And from that date on, essentially every utility on the planet began shifting rapidly to solar and wind. Equally important, on the chart below is the cost per kilowatt hour of lithium-ion batteries. And in 2019, for the first time, the cost of lithium-ion batteries dipped to about $150 and then below. And what that meant is, for the rest of my life and yours, every auto company in the world began moving all electric. And we're rapidly moving into a world where every auto company on the planet is moving that direction. Don't believe me? Take a look at this slide. We're entering a world of the electrification of everything. Road transport, buildings, industry, trains, boats, even aircraft are going electric because the cost down curve of lithium-ion batteries is happening so quickly. Take a look at the next slide. What this shows, and this is as of the beginning of this year, the auto companies of the world had already invested over $140 billion to electrify, to tear up the old assembly lines and to begin to plan for the world of electric vehicle futures. And as you can see here, it's not just the biggest firms in the world. It's not all the ones you'd think. Volkswagen, way ahead, making a deep commitment because they saw before others it would be all electric future. But if you're not convinced we're moving all electric, take a look at this slide. What this shows is the market cap of Tesla today. Tesla is valued more highly by Wall Street than Volkswagen, Daimler, BMW, Ferrari, General Motors, Honda, Hyundai, and the Ford Auto Company all put together. That's because increasingly investors around the world are realizing we're moving into this new world I've described of sustainable energy and electric vehicles, soon to be followed by electric boats and aircraft. Next slide. Right behind that is a new revolution coming. It's a revolution of autonomous vehicles. And it's coming quickly from this thing you see on the left, which is kind of a kludgy, bulky vehicle with this enormous thing stuck on the roof, to what the new autonomous vehicle will look like. And this is the new Volvo Polestar. But if you can see all that tech equipment on the top, Volvo, working with a firm we've invested in called Luminar, has reduced everything you see on the left to that very, very small unit built into the roof of the car on the right. Volvo will build every one of its Polestar and XC90 cars to look like the car on the right, starting in just 24 months. And that is what's beginning to move us toward this new future. Inexpensive, smaller form factor, farther seeing LiDAR that will make autonomous vehicles for the first time not only safer, but less expensive than any vehicle ever made before. Next slide. What I want you to understand is if you're running a car company today, you've got a huge problem. You've got huge, what we call revenue headwinds. First, there's this massive move to ride hailing. Remember the millennial buyers I told you about? They're moving away from owning cars. Who needs it? Especially if you live in a city. There's a global recession, auto sales down globally 15% year over year, and an increasing move to cities. And if you live in New York City or Bangkok, who needs a car, especially when you have ride hailing? And if you can take the cost of the driver out of a vehicle, you make transportation so much more accessible to everyone at a lower cost. And you can move from a world that California lives in, where the average car is used only 3% of the time, to a world where you can get utilization up at 65, 70, or 75%. That is the future we need to move toward, and every city is heading that direction. Take a look at the next slide. What I want to give you a sense of is if you're an auto company executive, I will tell you flat out right now, you're going to be selling more cars. Fewer cars for the first time in history. And what that means is, unless you can figure out how to drive more money from every vehicle, your company is going to be getting smaller. So what are the smart companies doing in the auto space? They're working on developing and monetizing that in-cabin experience, entertainment modules, work enhancement, virtual reality, maybe personal health. Tesla's already charging $9.95 a month for autonomous driving features. Car companies will move to a world where there's on-demand repairs, predictive maintenance. Your car will tell you when it's not feeling well, and someone will come out and help you fix your car. And lastly, there will be an arbitrage on energy where your car will be trading electricity back and forth with your utility and maybe the building you live in based on the time of day, and you'll be able to earn money doing it. And this is a view of what Audi thinks the future of these vehicles will look like. Take a look at the next slide. The big question is who's going to own cars in the future? Now, if you ask an American, they'll always say, oh, we will. Big country, big roads, big houses with garages. But in Europe, over 70% of the cars are already owned by fleets. So the auto companies don't think there's going to be any change. People will buy their own cars forever. I doubt it. Ride-sharing operators like Uber, Didi, Sting will say, no, we'll operate cars in the future. Interestingly enough, a growing number of utilities are saying, wait a minute, we can build these things into the rate base. We're the electric company. We have a deep balance sheet. Why don't we, since we provide the electricity and vehicles are becoming all electric, why don't we own vehicles in the future? And most interestingly, cities are increasingly looking at this and saying, look, it's our job to provide buses, fleets, move people around. Perhaps we as cities should create one of the largest revenue streams of all, and we should own cars of the future. Give some thought to this. It may not be who you think. Next slide. You're going to see a revolution in smart cities. And here's what it's going to look like. It's going to start with a large neural network. It will not be in the ground. There will be sensors in the air. And the first thing you will see is smart parking. And the reason for that is there is no city in the world that has much extra money. Cities aren't looking for extra expense centers. They're looking for new revenue centers. And parking for most cities in the world is the #2 provider of revenue. So every city is looking for smart parking that will tell you two things. One, they want to tell drivers where the open spaces are so you don't clog up the road arteries, that you can go right to the open space that's nearest to you. But the thing cities really want is the ability to, if you have a sticker on your windshield, start charging you the minute you pull into the space and stop charging the minute you leave. Because believe it or not, over 25% of the time people are parked in parking spaces, they're not paying for them. So smart parking is a way for cities to generate money. The second thing is you'll see these very same sensors, because once the sensors are up, you can put in modules for any other function you want. There'll be modules for smoother traffic flow, to adjust traffic light changes, to make traffic flow more efficient. You'll see sensors that will provide public safety, not only perhaps taking pictures should anybody commit a violent act. In the United States, we invested in a firm called ShotSpotter that would tell the police to within 5 meters of where a gunshot had been fired, so police could get there immediately. The last thing you're going to be seeing is smart municipal transit. One of the biggest cost centers for every city is to pay an enormous amount of money for buses that travel a static route, often even if there are no passengers to be picked up. In the future, you'll see smarter, smaller, electric, dynamic vehicles that won't necessarily travel the exact same route, but will go to wherever you are being hailed in the smartest way possible, and possibly give more and more people end-to-end, more convenient drop-off. And this should help cities reduce traffic, reduce the cost of transportation, and be more fuel efficient all at the same time. Because we're quickly heading to a world where with solar on every building, and by the way, in California, it's already required by law that every new home in California be built with solar on the roof. We're rapidly moving toward a world where every vehicle will be electric. In California, we're talking about requiring that no carbon-based fuel car will be sold after 2035. We're heading toward a world where people will not be spending a penny for electricity or gas ever again. And that's a foundation for the smart city. Next slide. So what I want to give you a sense of is when I founded our venture firm 13 years ago, people said, Steve, we love your vision, but who's making any money? And the truth is, this sheet you see before you, this slide, was empty. It was blank because no one was making money in this new world of sustainable energy or smart vehicles. But fast forward in the 13 years since we founded our firm, there are now over a dozen billion-dollar unicorns. And if you take a careful look, you will see that almost half of these companies are $10 billion decacorns. And already one of them, Tesla, is a $494 billion centacorn, 5 times the size of IBM in market cap. And the amazing thing here, by the way, I'm proud to note we're in 5 of these companies as an investor. But the thing that is most astonishing is not one of these companies is more than 16 years old. They're all virtually new. And that's because we're entering this new world of smart energy, smart mobilities, and smart cities faster than anybody had anticipated. You all are the children of this new world and have the ability to make a greener, sustainable planet and build the next great companies of the future. So I want to leave you with this thought on the last slide. I told you about the new customers of this age, the millennials. I told you about the new technologies, IoT, big data, sharing economy companies. But there's a new ethos, a new mindset. And that mindset is from Steve Jobs. And it says, if you're not cannibalizing yourself and your company, someone else will. So get used to change and go out and change the world. With that, what I'd love to do, and I'm delighted to be with you, it's late on a Monday night in Silicon Valley, but I'd love to tackle any questions you have. So go ahead and pop them up in the screen as you will, and I will answer anything that comes up. And Tanya, go ahead and yell out if there's something I don't see. Don't be bashful.
Thank you, Steve. So right now we have 2 questions already put in from the audience. Question number 1 would be, when do you think autonomous vehicle will be on the road commercially?
Got it. So there's 2 parts to this question. The first autonomous vehicles you will see will be put forth by firms like Mobileye that are already doing geofenced areas in Singapore, in Asia. You'll see them in Phoenix, Arizona, all over the world, but they'll be in carefully manicured areas. There's already another one in Virginia. You'll see them in San Francisco. That'll start happening literally as early as next year, and you'll see them proliferate through cities around the world. The big question is, when do you get to level 4 or 5 autonomy? And that's something that'll probably be more like 5 or 6 years out, but it's coming sooner than people think. Tesla has prototypes on the road now. I wouldn't drive too close to them just yet, but I have autonomous driving features on my car, and I can go literally 10 or 20 miles without touching the steering wheel. So the beginnings are here now. You'll see them in cities and geofenced areas soon, and you'll see them everywhere within the decade. And by the way, it will make transportation cheaper, safer, less polluting, and it will be a good thing for most anyone. Next question.
Awesome. Next one, we have a question from Mr. Mark Winkel. On your note, on your enthusiasm for things electric, driven by alternative energy sources. I will also start my video. Yes. Mark is wondering that Indonesia seems to be a little bit different from the rest of the planet, despite the government's commitment to use, a lot of renewable energy. So his question is, what is needed to break the chain in a country like Indonesia?
So two things. One, the cost down curve doesn't lie. And in some places like the US, we've been blessed with a lot of cheap oil. The bad news is that keeps us on oil a little longer. China has a lot of coal, so it takes a time. But the cost curve for solar and wind only go one direction, down. And even in places like Indonesia, Alaska, the United States, Canada, that are blessed with a lot of oil, there is no keeping up with the cost down curve of renewables. So in Indonesia, even you will begin to see a great proliferation of electric vehicles. And I'll tell you, I've been driving one for 9 years. They are just plain better. And if you can put solar on the roof, there will be no going back. By the way, let me be specific about better. The average car in the United States has an average miles per gallon of 26 miles per gallon. The new Tesla 3 has miles per gallon equivalent of 133 miles per gallon. So this isn't just a 10 or 20% increase, it's a 500% increase. So mark my words, we'll be moving toward electrics. The only barrier is, to date, they've been a little more expensive than gas-powered vehicles. In the future, starting next year, you will see electric vehicles be cheaper for the first time, and that cost curve will go down.
Great. Maybe a follow-on question actually from Arno Bagabaldo. How fast do you think the adoption of IoT or EV in less developed countries happen? He felt that it's lack about 2 years plus in this region, but he would like to hear the case in your thoughts from some countries like the Philippines, for example.
Yeah, no, my father grew up in the Philippines, so I am familiar with the country. I think 2 to 3 years is about right. But the real issue and the reason why I think electrics will take over in developing world countries very quickly is twofold. One, in 12 to 24 months, they'll flat out be cheaper, and everybody wants a cheaper vehicle. The second thing that has held people back a little bit is you have to build out an electric charging grid. But the good news is an electric charging grid is dramatically cheaper than a gasoline network. And I installed my own charging station in our garage. It took 45 minutes and cost $400. I have not been back to a gas station since. So building out the electric charging grid is much cheaper than people realize. What the world is waiting for is a sub $25,000 car that will have a range of 300 miles, will be there by next year.
Great. Steve, I hate to say this, but we are sort of running out of time. So maybe one last broader questions, and I will send you other questions because we have a lot here. So this one last question would be, do you think, or do you see Asia embracing smart city solutions quicker? How do you see China's growth in this arena?
So look, I think Asia is in the unique opportunity to leapfrog over the US and Europe. Because the US and Europe have so much infrastructure built out, it is very hard for us in a place like New York City to rip up the road and the buildings and the skyscrapers. Asia is growing faster than any part of the world. Asia also is becoming one of the wealthier parts of the world. We in the US realize that Asia, and in many ways, Southeast Asia and China, have an opportunity to leapfrog into the future, to provide the best example for how to live in a sane and sustainable way. We think Asia in many ways will lead the world. I want to challenge the people in the audience to be part of that leadership. Show us in North America and Europe how to do a better job. I think the future is Asia.
That is a wonderful ending. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us this morning, our time, evening, your time. And Tracy, thank you so much for your help. I will make sure that I will send you additional questions for you to share with our audience today. Thank you once again.
Great. Thank you for having me.
our Smart Cities Batch 2, we have got an exciting lineup of startups across multiple industries, focus areas, and geographies. And our community manager, Alex Chatpaitun, will tell you more about it.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm the community manager for Smart Cities program. For this batch, we have selected startups that focus mainly on microbiome testing, AV sharing economy, contactless check-in, digital health platform, water waste treatment, renewable energy, e-payment, and alternative protein. In the first category of mobility and IoT, are startups that use EV and AV sharing economy, mobility platform, and IoT for indoor people movement, including Wonder Mobility, Blue Space, and Butler. In terms of the energy and sustainability, we have Hydrolib, Insolite, and Rest Solar Foods. These startups focus on wastewater treatment, renewable energy, IoT platform, and alternative protein. When it comes to health vertical, our startup that use digital health platform, microbiome testing, and AI for image diagnosis, including Peach IntelliHealth, Honest Docs, DocDoc, Atmo Bioscience, and LifeTrack Medical Systems. Moving forward to real estate and construction, we have Safe, G-Trip, and BeamMatch. These startups focus on contactless check-in, commercial real estate, e-payment, and building information modeling. Bringing up very first startup, I'd like to introduce you to a company called Blue Space. This startup provides accessible and sustainable urban mass transit. So let's hear from them.
Hi, I'm Christine Moon, co-founder of BlueSpace.ai. We're based out of Silicon Valley and set out to power the future of urban mobility with our self-driving technology, starting in mass transit. That's right, buses. My co-founder Joel and I were able to celebrate the success of our previous AV company being acquired by Apple, but more importantly, to think about what are the remaining challenges of the self-driving industry today. So last year, we set out to raise $3.5 million, and we were successful in getting funded by global investors. And with a team of industry veterans, we were able to achieve a technical milestone, which we're happy to announce today, which is Blue Space's autonomous safety envelope. That really enables the industry to unlock that $550 billion market so we can get to AV commercialization faster. I want to explain current state of a self-driving industry a little bit. So today, the conventional AV companies suffer from having this black box of deep learning, as you see in this picture. And that black box is really around the computer not having that accurate perception and prediction of the motions around it. And some industry experts say the AV, the autonomous vehicle, has to drive 8.8 billion miles for it to be on par with human level of driving. And as you can tell from this picture, we're ways off. Even what's deemed as industry leader, Google Waymo, is only at tiny 25 million miles compared to the 8.8 billion miles that needed to be driven. So Blue Space presents our AV technology that really is revolutionary. It's been patented. And what it enables is for us to not infer motion, as you see on the left, but be really able to measure motion. And that's a key difference. And that can result in life or death situation. And not only that, not only do we have the key that unlocks the L4 level of self-driving, it also helps us think about how do you make this a sustainable business? Maintenance costs with traditional AV technology is really high as you continue to rely on data and you have to collect data, annotate the data, and you have to update your HD map. And when there's a hardware switch, it also incurs extra cost. Blue Space takes care of that. And this is what our advisor, Brian McClendon, meant when he said, hey, with Blue Space's technology, we're able to really usher in the AV commercialization faster by 2 to 3 years. What we also want to showcase is how we can get to commercialization faster by really applying our technology in the enterprise space, which is logistics and mass transit. So we're working with many bus manufacturers to integrate our AV technology solution and in launching not only in the US, but overseas as well. We would love to partner with you to figure out how we can partner in your market, as we want to address many of the local problems together that you see and make it into a scalable business. Thank you.
Next, we have Wonder Mobility, a platform that launches and scales new mobility services that improve urban planning and traffic management. With that being said, I'm going to hand over to Wonder Mobility team.
Hi everyone, this is Christian, Business Development Manager here at Wonder Mobility. Very excited to be able to talk to you guys about how we can help you launch and scale your next mobility venture. We are one of Germany's fastest growing companies, as well as in Europe and globally, to provide mobility services. We are based in Hamburg, Germany, with also offices in Los Angeles, California. We help you build, launch, and scale new mobility platforms that are tailored specifically for your business model. We currently operate in more than over 100 cities on 6 continents, which with our most recent addition of a project in South Africa, reaching our 6th continent to give us that real global reach as a company. We have more than 150 plus employees sourced from all over the globe with very diverse backgrounds, bringing a lot of different strengths to the Wonder Mobility team. We also have a team that's very well versed and has experience operating in the mobility space. We have more than 100,000 vehicles connected to Wonder Mobility platforms, which is more than any competitor in the mobility technology space. Last year, we raised more than 60 million in Series B funding, which has allowed us to continue our path to becoming a global mobility company. So we enable corporates, startups, and OEMs alike to be able to launch and scale their mobility services. We provide these solutions in the form of white label mobility applications for both Android and iOS, but we also give you robust, feature-rich backends for you to manage your day-to-day operations. We also have an in-house vehicles team that helps provide the most seamless end-to-end solution for your hardware and sharing vehicle needs, and we can customize the project to tailor your specific mobility venture. We worked with all different types of companies, from startups to OEMs to large corporates that are wanting to invest in future mobility. Our Wonder Mobility Solutions OS helps provide technology for all different types of mobility ventures. For example, our industry-leading Wonder Fleet can operate anything from a kick scooter up to car sharing. And car sharing doesn't just stop at Wonder Fleet. We have Wonder Rent, which also provides a station-based solution for car sharing. Our Wonder Ride platform, we've partnered with one of the strongest leaders in on-demand transport to provide a platform for you to be able to use, whether it's for ride-hailing, for taxi use case, also employee shuttles, but also public transportation. It's one of the most robust features that we've offered on one of our platforms yet. And we're very excited to talk to you not only about some of those platforms, but also other solutions that we can help provide for your mobility venture. Very excited to get to be here and presenting this information to all of you, and hopefully we will talk soon. Thank you.
Moving on to the next startup called Butler. This startup uses IoT insight and intelligence for indoor people movement without violating individual privacy. So let's hear from them.
Hello everyone, my name is Hong Hao Din. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Butler. Butler is a spin-off from MIT Media Lab. We've developed a new generation wireless system to track individuals' position and behavior while safeguarding privacy. It can be used in any environment, home, assisted living, offices, or retail. We built state-of-the-art sets of algorithms and wireless sensing network based on our team's multiple years of research. The Butler team is from MIT, Harvard, and Berkeley. Our technology is the world's first and only solution to detect individuals' indoor location, posture, and body temperature in real time, all while safeguarding privacy, and is completely wireless and plug and play. Currently, Butler focuses on being the technology provider for indoor behavior tracking, especially in places with privacy concern where camera couldn't go to. Our current ARR is $1 million. With multiple sensors in this place, our system can track each individual's visitors from the moment they walk into the store to the shelf space until the point they check out. The retailers can use this shopping journey data to achieve real-time personalized promotion and experience just like online retail. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we added automated maximum occupancy control, queue management, and temperature screening to eliminate the designated staff member and reduce the cost and risk for the business owners. And we just rolled out the temperature detection feature. The same trajectory tracking technology also have a broad use case in assisted living to monitor the well-being of the elderly while protecting their privacy. We are signing a new contract to deploy to 50,000 apartments in Europe. Our system can also be easily integrated into existing smart home. To automate seamless experience, CBS TV has featured us on California by Design TV show. It's the first and only solution to detect indoor location, posture, and body temperature at the same time. And we have built it ultra easy to deploy, safeguard privacy, accurate, real-time, and low cost. Other technology like Wi-Fi or beacon cannot compete our accuracy by nature. We're the winner of Architecture A+ Award in Smart Building and Technology category in 2020. Imagine a physical world that truly understands customer user experience that is safe, responsive, and intelligent, powered by Butler. If you want to be part of this, reach out to me at this email.
For the next startup, we have Hydroleap. This startup provides advanced environmental-friendly technological water treatment solutions. So please help me welcome Hydroleap team.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Mo, CEO and founder of Hydroleap. Hydroleap is a specialized water and wastewater treatment startup that is revolutionizing water treatment across the industries. We founded the company in 2016 after years of R&D, and we have been very fortunate to be invested and supported by both governmental and institutional investors. What we do, Hydroleap utilizes electrical and the membrane treatment systems to provide a chemical-free, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly solution for wastewater treatment. By creating a sustainable water treatment process, we are shifting the focus from the conventional methods to more innovative, efficient, and green solutions. Let's talk about the problems more specifically. Any industries that you can imagine is using tons of water and generating tons of wastewater every day. Construction, mining, manufacturing, oil and gas, textile, tannery, and etc. When we look into their current treatment plants, you will find a common process called chemical treatment or chemical coagulation flocculation. Apart from the obvious, it's expensive, it's not environmentally friendly, and is pain to operate. So we develop a cutting-edge water treatment technology by replacing expensive chemicals with electricity. And we also solve the problems associated with the conventional electrical treatment, which forms our IPs. Over the past few years, not only we took the technology from the lab scale to the pilot and commercialization, but also we combine our electrical treatment with the state-of-the-art membrane technologies to build a hybrid electrical and the membrane treatment systems. So the value propositions, we are introducing a chemical-free, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly solution for wastewater treatment. It's packaged and modularized system, so it means that you're eliminating the needs for any infrastructure or civil works. Basically, it's plug and play. And as you can see, it's applicable to a variety of the wastewaters because you're able to remove suspended solids, COD, heavy metals, dye, hardness, silica, and many more. Here's some of the case studies. The first one, construction. Construction industry typically uses chemicals to treat silty or runoff wastewater from the site. This is costly, inconsistent, and harmful to the environment. Waterways can turn brown by discharging this silty water to the canals. So our clients use 3 of our ECM systems with a total capacity of 140 cubic meters per hour, and the benefits they got, they reduced their operating costs from 42 cents per cubic meter to only 3 cents per cubic meter, while enjoying the automation features, lesser manpower, and lesser space footprint. So this is another example. This is not a case study for industrial wastewater or for the oily wastewater treatment. So we use our hybrid electrical and membrane treatment system to provide an end-to-end treatment system for reuse, for treating and reusing the water for the client. So we started the company with the aim to reimagine the treatment process across industries. And we have been doing that by cutting costs, cutting manpower, and adding sustainability aspect to our clients' businesses. And we really appreciate that. Companies and experts can see that. So we are always looking for companies who like to revisit the way that they look at the water treatment, because sustainability is not an option anymore, and it's just a matter of time that everybody in every company is taking it more seriously. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Next, we have NREST. NREST is an IoT platform that digitizes and analyzes building and factory management, allowing them to reduce tedious operation, energy consumption, and unprepared business interruptions. Let's meet NREST.
Hi, my name is Jeff, co-founder of NREST. At NREST, we aim to make facility more efficient with an IoT platform. After the third and fourth industrial revolution, each facility have been computerized, but managing all these systems are still done manually for most buildings. Data from each system are not fully combined. Therefore, optimizing and orchestrating this system in real time is not possible. This results in inefficient operations, equipment settings, and unplanned downtime, of which cost owner on average of 30% of their operation costs, not only reducing their profit, but also affecting workforce quality of life and excess carbon emissions. With this problem arise, we built NREST as a turnkey solution to turn this data to actionable insights to help owners and managers gain more profits. And we work in 3 simple steps. First, we utilize IoT technologies to connect data from any source. Second, we are orchestrating this data by normalizing, cleaning, and structuring them. And third, our AI jump in to turn this normalized data, identify the inefficiency, and recommend the best solutions. With this step, we are ready to tackle the global challenge to 3 key values: proven benefit and success, innovation embedded, and scale-ready team. Proven benefit and success. With data optimization, we are able to increase revenue. Our AI can automatically run baseload anomaly detection, solar plant optimization, or identify fault in solar panel to increase profit in real time. This helps our customer to turn their data into actionable insights, enjoying saving from 3 to 30% from their operation costs, and lay out their digital foundations to be data-driven companies. With real results, we are trusted by more than 100 customers, both public and private sectors, and partnering with them to help us scale as well. With our proven benefit and success, we always innovate and be on top of the market. Strong founding team is the key to our success. We are a group of evangelists from both facility and data where this allows us to constantly self-innovate and learn newer insights easily. With our innovative embedded team, we receive reward from notable institutes, both international and local, such as from Singtel Future Maker and various ministries in Thailand. With our proven success in innovative culture, we are in scaling phase. In parallel with regional expansion, we are dominating Thai market with tackling medium to large buildings and factories totaling of 100,000 in Thailand alone. With 3 strategies that we deploy: increase value reseller partners, simplify the products, and increase seller business and revenue through upsell solutions. This helps us gain the market share and gain the ticket size. With our reseller characteristics are the one with nationwide regional footprint. Currently, we have onboarded and onboarding reseller in pipeline ranging from facility management to telecommunications. At NRES, we believe in proven benefit, innovative embedded company, and scale-ready team to tackle AIoT platform in real world. Thank you.
Moving forward to the world's most sustainable protein without agriculture and limitations in scale, let's meet Solar Foods team.
You know, this might not look like much, but this here is the start of new era of food production. For thousands of years, food production has defined human societies, but now we are standing on the cusp of new food revolution. At Solar Foods, we talk about creating food out of thin air. This is a combination of science and nature, and I'm here to explain what it means. The protein that we produce has its origins in a type of microbe that can be found in the nature. In order to multiply one microbe into billions and billions, we start by hand-picking samples from nature and taking these into our lab. Here in our laboratory, we take the samples we have collected from nature in order to screen for the best organisms. These samples are incubated in flasks in suitable conditions, which help the desired organisms to grow and multiply. So we continue to cultivate the mixture and increase the cultivation size step by step so that eventually it's ready to be transferred into the bioreactor. However, before we visit the bioreactor, let's have a look at another piece of the puzzle. In order for the microbes to grow in the bioreactor, they will need food. This here is our air capture device. The purpose of this device is to capture CO2 and water from air. The water that is collected is then split with electricity to hydrogen and oxygen gases. The CO2, hydrogen, and oxygen are then fed into our continuous bioreactor. This here is our bioreactor. There we cultivate the organism which we have discovered from nature. The main nutrients that we are using here, CO2 and water, we capture from air. And then we are also supplying with minerals including ammonia, which is then the source for nitrogen. The organism that we are using does actually the heavy lifting in this process, so we are only letting it fulfill its purpose, the continuation of life. Next, we move on to something pretty exciting, the harvest. In harvesting, since the microbiomass contains a lot of water, we need to remove the excess water. And we do it by centrifugal separator here, and the resulting slurry is then ready for drying. Finally, we turn the Selma slurry into a dried powder. This entirely new protein is called choline, and it's completely natural and sustainable. With our bioprocess, we are liberating food production from the constraints of agriculture. To be genuinely sustainable, we are doing this by following nature's playbook. We just like to do it a little bit more efficiently.
For the next startup, please help me welcome Insolite team. This startup is building the most efficient translucent solar PV models in the world for computation above agriculture.
Hello, my name is David Trupasa and I'm Chief Business Officer at Insolite. I'm here today to tell you about our high-efficiency, translucent photovoltaic modules destined to be put above agriculture, known as agrivoltaics. Insolite is building the world's most efficient solar modules with a mission to catalyze large-scale impact at the nexus of food and green energy production. We are currently based at the Swiss Institute of Technology in Switzerland. Agrivoltaics can solve several issues of photovoltaics. The land use competition with agriculture, for instance. It can open up new capacity for PV deployment and can lower the CO2 output of agriculture. However, today, conventional modules fail at this because they are opaque, which means that crop yields are lowered, and in order to minimize this lowering of crop yields, the modules are generally spaced, leading to a lower amount of kilowatt hour per square meter. And we come in with a module that solves this conundrum, that can produce just as much electricity as opaque crystalline silicon, and that has a feature of smart translucency. That is, not only the light traverses the modules, but in addition, it can be the amount of transmitted light can be actively regulated. In terms of LCOE, we come in at similar costs as conventional APV, that is around 8 to 9 cents, and the modules are just as easy to mount as conventional modules, can be clipped on a standard frame. The modules are also designed for 25 years reliability as conventional modules. All of this allows you to have, at the end of the day, a high ground cover ratio without degrading the crop yields, yielding up to 160% more energy than conventional agrivoltaic installations. If you look at what's been done in the past, people were doing agriculture and PV, then they started combining it into agrivoltaic setups. We want to add the feature of dynamic control of the light to get to increased crop production in certain cases, bringing you to the future solution for agrivoltaics, which is our TEA module. So how does it work? Direct light in the sky is concentrated, thanks to an array of lenses, onto very small, high-efficiency solar cells. These cells, in order to follow the sun as the sun moves through the sky in the day, have an integrated micro-tracking mechanism. The results have been validated by third parties, both in terms of PV and in terms of agricultural production. As I was mentioning, the modules have an effect of smart translucency. You can choose what you do with the light. Either you focus it on the high efficiency cell and produce energy, or you can choose to voluntarily disalign the module to let more light through when the plant really needs it. If you choose your plant well, you only do this approximately 5% of the time over a year. Our modules can be installed in 3 main use cases: on open fields, integrated within greenhouse roofs, and also vegetalized rooftops. Our business model is to control the product design, outsource manufacturing, and do module distribution, ultimately at the price of approximately 150 euros per square meter, yielding an LCOE around 8 cents. What is interesting to note is that this 8 cents LCOE is the same as conventional standard agrivoltaics. However, you have many additional agricultural synergies, ultimately lowering your effective LCOE to somewhere around 6 cents. These numbers are for the case of Bordeaux in France. We will produce 1,000 modules in the next year, and by 2022 be in large-scale production with commercially qualified modules. On behalf of the team, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and would be happy to take any questions you may have. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce you to a New York-based startup that uses AI and machine learning to improve patient outcomes and reduce healthcare costs through the data analytics. With that being said, let's hear from Peach IntelliHealth.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudine Hong, CEO and co-founder of Peach IntelliHealth. We are a healthcare machine learning company started by 5 MIT scientists. We're also very fortunate to have some of the biggest names as our advisors. These are some of the who's who in healthcare from Europe, Japan, as well as the US. And today I'm very pleased to be sharing with you our pipeline. We have been told by hospitals that we provide the largest, widest array of AI predictions that are useful for multiple conditions. And here are some examples of what we predict. So we typically use routinely collected data from hospitals and from patients to predict if someone is going to have cardiac arrest 1 day in advance. We can predict their vital signs. We can predict if they're going to have other types of organ dysfunction. And when it comes to hospitals, what this means is that if doctors and nurses have the AI, they will have this advanced foresight and they can treat 1 or 2 days before some kind of unpredictable deterioration. So problems that occur are conditions that have unpredictable deterioration, such as COVID-19, sepsis, cardiac arrest that result in high mortality, and also, unfortunately, hospitals and payers lose a lot of money. And with our solution, hospitals will be able to stay 1 step or 2 steps ahead of patient decline and then prevent some of these bad outcomes from happening. So I'm happy to share with you that we have conducted successfully a large clinical study involving over 5,000 ICU patients in Singapore and gotten regulatory approval. Here's a snapshot of what the app looks like during that clinical study. And to date, we have also been creating very high barriers to entry with significant competitive advantage. We have the widest array available on the market with performance that's superior to the competition. We've filed patents and we'll be filing more. And the solutions that you see today, they're already deployed in hospitals as well as for patients at home. We have solid traction. Hospitals in Asia, in LATAM, and US are interested in using our AI solution for their sickest patients. And we are also in confidential discussions with device and pharma on how our AI can work in the background to help them build better products and go to market sooner. In terms of funding, our first seed institutional investor is the Singapore government. We also have VC as well as angels and we are the proud recipient of multiple competitive grants. We're currently raising Series A of $10 million. We'll be targeting going to hospitals as our first revenue creation, as well as then followed by devices and pharma. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about Peach today. Please join us on our website to hear more, if you like, about what Sepsis Alliance and other healthcare experts think about our solution. Or you can also contact me directly at hong@peachih.com. Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we have Honest Doc. Honest Doc is a managed marketplace for healthcare in emerging Southeast Asia that is offering teleconsultation and medicine delivery and clinical bookings. Please welcome Honest Doc team.
Hi, I'm Raya, co-founder and CMO at HD or Honest Docs, #1 full-stack digital healthcare app for Southeast Asia. We're currently operating in Thailand and Indonesia. HD has built an ecosystem to connect our 8 million monthly users to reliable health content written or reviewed by the medical team. Over 50 pharmacists, doctors, and specialists, over 10,000 SKUs of medicine and health products, and over 500 healthcare providers. We offer teleconsultation in 3 different formats: forum, live text chat, and call. So far, we have over 120,000 happy customers. Users love our service because they get to spend more time with doctors and don't have to wait for hours at the hospital. It also helps relieve their anxiety and guides them to better take care of themselves. Sometimes it's hard to find a local pharmacy or certain SKUs in some locations, especially in remote areas and islands of Indonesia. So we connect our users to our online pharmacists and over 10,000 SKUs. So far, we have delivered over 10,000 orders to 800 cities, including the one with his mom whose baby boy got a fever. Our telemedicine service allows her to go to work, get paid her daily wage, and can still treat her child at home. We partner with over 500 healthcare providers, offering over 4,000 packages, so we can be with our customers throughout their whole journey, from when they want to get a heart checked, to get a heart surgery, or even get physical therapies after the operation. All these with additional benefits of discounts and installment plans. And our founder were C-levels or held top management positions at top Southeast Asia startups like e-commerce, Lazada, or Fabelio before. We can work together in several ways. We can supercharge your employee benefits by offering employee discount or subscription to our teleconsultation or telemedicine service, so they can take better care of their physical and mental health, leading to more productivity and less medical leave for the company. We can also help be a platform for you to connect to your potential customers through our media and content. We are open to more ideas on how we can partner, including introductions to our potential partners like pharmacists, labs, clinics, and hospitals. And we also fundraising. So we really hope that you'll join us in this journey, on this mission to empower people to live longer and fuller life. Talk to you soon.
Next startup, we have DocDoc. DocDoc is the world's first patient intelligent company. Their goal is to optimize healthcare outcomes and spending and improving the patient's end-to-end healthcare journey. Please join me in welcoming DocDoc team.
Hi, I'm Grace Park, co-founder and president of DocDoc. Kapun Ka to Plug and Play Thailand for this opportunity to share about something that impacts us all, healthcare. It's a major challenge facing the world today. Medical inflation is out of control globally, being nearly double general inflation rates. And if we did nothing and just kept going as per usual, it will bankrupt countries, bankrupt companies, and bankrupt families. But why? Consumers need help in healthcare. They rely on arbitrary recommendations to find the right care. By using directory lists with no discerning data, for example, how can one wisely choose between doctor number 17 and number 27 simply based on a name, photo, and address? Or asking existing doctors and hoping that there were no kickbacks to the specialist recommendations made, or consulting friends and family, which are anecdotal at best. And due to the lack of data-driven recommendations, there is a fundamental lack of transparency, and the doctors selected are most often not the ideal fit. And patients who make suboptimal decisions are at risk of higher complication and readmissions rates, increased anxiety, and higher medical costs and overcharging. Unlike other industries where there is greater transparency, high cost does not correlate to high quality in healthcare. In the United States, the third leading cause of death is medical error. Can you imagine what that statistic is like in any country in Asia? DocDoc is the world's first patient intelligence company. We match patients to doctors based on our AI platform called HOPE, the heuristic for outcome, price, and experience. These are metrics of quality. And we generate a positive ROI by increasing cost savings, driving top-line growth, and delighting customers. For doctors, they sign up with DocDoc because doctors receive patients most relevant to their expertise, and it saves them time and money. DocDoc is a free service to doctors, so there is no financial conflict of interest. And we're also free to patients and partner with insurers and corporate clients. And the data is secure and private. Over 94% of the thousands of doctors we had met have signed up to join our network throughout several countries in Asia. And our solution is not just our technology, but includes the human touch as our in-house doctors guide patients throughout their healthcare journey. DocDoc delivers a game-changing customer experience, which has been 7.2 times better than the industry average because we are providing the much-needed transparency for the first time. Why did we take this fight on? The purpose behind DocDoc came from a personal experience when my daughter needed a liver transplant, and we had a challenging time finding our right doctor. Our mission is to change the status quo, to truly transform healthcare by decreasing overall costs, improve outcomes, and delight patients. Thank you.
Moving on to a microbiome testing company called Atmo Bioscience. This startup is a clinical stage digital health business focused on empowering researchers, clinicians, and patients with objective real-time insights and microbiome function.
Thanks. I'm Mel Hebblewhite, CEO of Atmo Biosciences. Atmo is a clinical stage digital health business focused on providing real-time insights into gut health. We address the unmet clinical need to monitor microbiome function, allowing a personalised medicine approach to GI disorders. We have a world-first ingestible gas sensing capsule which continuously measures clinically important gaseous biomarkers in the gut and transmits the data wirelessly to the cloud for aggregation and analysis. We've completed a first human trial, and we have a suite of pilot trials currently underway addressing a range of conditions. 1 in 5 of us will have a gastrointestinal disorder that requires specialist attention at some point in our lives, and a third of those with a GI condition will remain undiagnosed or have unresolved symptoms. Irritable bowel syndrome is the largest chronic condition treated in the US, yet it remains a syndrome based on symptoms with no definitive diagnostic test. The recent explosion of interest in the microbiome means we can analyse microbiome composition, but along with composition, measuring microbiome function is a major unmet clinical need because understanding individual function is crucial for a personalised approach to therapy. So what if things were simpler? Imagine if we could take a pill to screen for and diagnose gut disorders. Well, that's exactly what we have. A swallowable electronic capsule the size of a large multivitamin, which can accurately detect gases at their source and transmit the data wirelessly to the cloud. The Atmo capsule will result in better targeted therapy, earlier relief of symptoms for patients, and reduced healthcare costs. After ingestion, it senses clinically important gaseous biomarkers as it transits through the gut. The resulting gas profiles provide information about health or dysfunction and will build a large data set. Market opportunities for microbiome functional analysis include clinical research, where the Atmo platform can be used to provide insight into evaluation of the benefits of functional foods, therapeutic candidates, or probiotics. In clinical diagnostics, it can be used to measure motility and transit time and as a replacement for hydrogen-based breath testing. And a huge market exists in the integrated health and consumer wellness space, where it can be used to evaluate personalised diets or therapies. We have a strong team with founders and directors with medical device development and commercialisation experience, and advisors like Professor Peter Gibson, a global key opinion leader who heads gastroenterology at Monash University. So in summary, Atmo offers direct, accurate sensing of clinically important biomarkers at the source of production. The data are transmitted to the cloud for aggregation and analysis. The capsule is a less expensive solution than alternative tools such as breath testing, and it offers a superior value proposition. And patients can go about their normal daily life. And finally, we have multiple shots on goal in terms of different clinical applications and large unmet market opportunities. Thank you.
Coming up next, we have a health tech company that's developed and deployed the first scalable distributed medical imaging software designed for affordable access in emerging markets. So let's hear from LifeTrack Medical System and let's see how their technology works.
LifeTrack Medical Systems is a Singapore and Philippines headquartered health technology company focused on making medical imaging affordable and accessible globally. Medical or diagnostic imaging is important because healthcare is becoming imaging first. Whether it's an X-ray for tuberculosis or a CT scan for cancer, almost all medical diagnoses today requires an imaging component. The critical gap is the scarcity of radiologists who diagnose these medical images, and it's particularly acute in emerging markets where there's only one radiologist for every 100,000 people. LifeTrack's LifeSys is a next-generation medical imaging platform which aims to address this by replacing legacy radiology software with a scalable, cost-effective solution that allows radiologists to reach more patients wherever they are in the world. Every day, hundreds of medical facilities globally are using LifeSys to send their medical images securely to our cloud servers, deployed in both public and private clouds in regions around the world. These LifeSys cloud servers are located regionally and receive hundreds of thousands of DICOM images daily. Our architecture on the cloud allows us to infinitely expand our capacity when needed. This allows us to support more medical images and users in a cost-effective way. Every day, thousands of concurrent users access LifeSys, from radiologists providing needed diagnosis securely and remotely, to referring physicians reviewing these radiologist results to recommend treatment to their patients. LifeSys is also designed to be interoperable and integrate with other healthcare applications using accepted healthcare informatics standards to create a seamless, modern, and digital workflow for medical imaging. Since launching LifeSys at the end of 2016, LifeSys has helped diagnose more than 1.5 million patient studies from all around the world. We work with customers who are healthcare providers who want to give their radiologists the right platform to reach more patients and diagnose them more efficiently. LifeTrack has been recognized globally, receiving prestigious awards from bodies such as the Financial Times and the International Finance Corporation. The scalability and ease of deployment of LifeSys also means that we're able to attract an ecosystem of deep learning and artificial intelligence partners who integrate their diagnostic and screening features on our platform and provide an integrated experience to our customers. We are looking for the right visionary partners who want to move into the next phase of healthcare digitization by adopting the latest technologies for their medical imaging infrastructure. My name is Carl Nicholas Ng, Chief Operating Officer of LifeTrack Medical Systems, and I look forward to discussing this more with you.
Now we have a world-class facial recognition provider based in AI and focused on payments and secure authentications. Let's meet the startup called Safe.
Hi, I'm Hideki Saito from Safe. Safe is an IT company with facial recognition expertise, and its headquarters is located in London. The expertise comes from CTO Giovanni's research at Harvard and Fraunhofer. In 2013, his team won the first place in the facial recognition competition held by IEEE, and then they established their company in 2015. The British Financial Authority, FCA, has a fintech program named Regulatory Sandbox, and Safe was selected in this program, which promotes the collaboration with financial institutes in Europe, because Safe was the only vendor authorized by FCA in terms of facial recognition. Why Safe? We have two reasons. The first reason is its accuracy. American National Institute, named NIST, is famous for evaluating facial recognition technology, and they selected us in top 15 out of over 100 vendors in the world. This proves that Safe has the world top level facial recognition. The second reason is its anti-fraud ability. We call this liveness check, which is our differentiator. Facial recognition functionality is essentially to match facial images. However, it's not easy to distinguish between living human like me and printed photo like this, or image displayed on the device like this. Those cases are fraud in facial recognition. To check the fraud, the other vendor solution requires special devices such as 3D camera or infrared camera, which is expensive. On the other hand, our technology can check the fraud only by software, so we don't need special devices. That's why we can reduce the cost compared with the other vendors. We have many production cases and proof of concept cases in Europe, South America, and Japan. I'd like to introduce some use cases in this next slide. First case is bus fare settlement, Spain, Madrid. So cashiers realized utilizing our facial recognition in collaborating with MasterCard and Spanish bank Santander. Next case. Second case is payment at supermarket, which is happening in Colombia. When you go shopping, you don't need to bring anything for payment, such as cash or credit card anymore. Next case. It's access control at the residential entrance or office entrance, which is happening in Japan. You don't need to carry the key or security card anymore. Next page. So we'd like to expand our business in Asia. If you have interest in facial recognition, please let me know. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have G-Trip. G-Trip is a digital identity platform for global citizens where users validate their photo ID with a smartphone selfie and contactlessly check in hotels.
Hi, my name is Maxim. I'm co-founder and CEO of G-Trip. About 6 years ago, when me and my co-founder were studying in the US, we had this vision of humans eventually traveling without their photo IDs and possibly use something like a digital ID. And that vision is a reality today. We started a business where we make it happen for hotels. So we service 25,000 hotel rooms today. We're clocking $1 million in revenue each year. We have just been invested by one of the largest venture capital in Japan, together with the CVC from KDDI Telco from Japan and Keppel Corporation from Singapore. Our customer base is primarily made up of five-star hotel chains. We've also started to grow beyond hotels into a broader definition of commercial real estate, such as university hostels, co-living places, and co-working space offices. One of the core technologies that we have is photo ID verification using your smartphone camera and match that to the owner's face using a selfie. We've also built a lot of interfaces to existing commercial real estate hardware and software systems so that you could just buy G-Trip and install it in 5 days. Our customer base is doubling each year. Today, we have 25,000 hotel rooms and 4,200 employee users as paying customers. Here's a demo video of how it all works for a customer. Imagine you are traveling in the post-COVID world. When you land at the airport, you will receive a check-in confirmation link on your mobile device via an email. When you click on the link, it opens in a browser window and turns your mobile phone into a digital guest registration card. You can also just take a selfie and point your camera at your photo ID so we could automatically check you in. And throughout this process, we've also learned to do a lot of interesting features like sending a digital key straight to your mobile device so that you could have a keyless and contactless check-in and entry experience. And we can even use this secure digital identity to do things like in-app messaging with the front office or in-app ordering of additional items. We have not just provided a guest-facing experience, we've also built a very robust dashboard for the hotel staff so that you can see how it is all happening for their guests. Today, our customers buy our product not just for productivity gains, but also to have a contactless, safe check-in experience. Our product is as secure as transferring money. We're compliant with GDPR and PDPA, and we have the offline mode for places where there's no internet connection. Our team has just doubled in size this year, and you can find out more about us at gtrip.com with a double I. Thank you.
last one, we have BIMmatch. BIMmatch offers software as a service market solution to automate and optimize and procurement of construction products and materials. Please help me welcome BIMmatch team.
Hi, I'm Kheli, co-founder and CEO of BIMmatch. We live in a world of dynamic adaptation. We expect our tools to be dynamically adapted to our needs. In this sense, the construction domain is one of the latest to be revolutionized. With a global market size of $11 trillion and almost $1 trillion of construction material markets, still, every construction project struggles with the same pains. 1. Budget overruns due to mistakes in material specification and selection. 2nd, high cost of project data management. And 3rd, a broken and uncommunicative procurement process within organization and with other teams. All of these brought us to develop BIMmatch, a SaaS market solution to automate and optimize the procurement process of construction products and materials based on BIM and AI capabilities. Our core technology is matching engine that matches between the client's and the product needs and the materials and product specification that are available on market. We do it by BIM and AI. Our end users use BIMmatch through plugin to Revit or via SaaS application to create a dynamic bill of quantities and to communicate and manage holistically the procurement process. We enable manufacturers to market their product smartly. All they need is to upload and publish the product spec, and we communicate the data to the right stakeholders at the right time of the project. Today, more than ever, BIM is a mandatory digital asset for every manufacturer in the COVID-19 time. By bridging separate systems and presenting end-to-end transparency and visibility into the supply chain, BIMmatch will reduce costs, improve service quality, and even precipitate new business models that could further disrupt constructions. Our competitive advantage is making data flow easily and seamlessly. Our business model based on catalog subscription plans, bids and tenders, and data analysis. At this stage, we are fundraising $1 million for 1.5-year runtime to enable stabilization of market network effect in the APAC market of construction. We are currently starting strong POCs and we get strong positive feedbacks. BIMmatch is already generating revenues in the Israeli market with a great growth predictions. As an architect with 15 years of experience and with an awesome team of product experts, system architect, and content manager, we are ready to disrupt the procurement process of construction products and materials. Thank you, Plug and Play, for making this opportunity for us, and have an awesome day.
If you would like to find out more about these startups, please approach any one of us from the Plug and Play team, and we will be more than happy to connect you with the startups.